One of the most common questions and topics of discussion I get asked almost on a weekly basis is about the Explorer Club. Basically, people want to know if I subscribe to the Explorer Club, and if so, or if not, why. Frankly, I have put off doing the numbers on the Explorer Club because it was going to be a lot of math. But in this episode, I crunched the numbers and I took a look at how long it takes to pay off a subscription to the Explorer Club. So if this sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Hey, all you Atlas Earthlings. Once again, Bronze Dragon coming at you saying thanks for dropping by. As always, I do appreciate the time you spend with me. Please remember to leave a like on the video if you like this kind of content, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you've got something to say, leave a comment. I appreciate it. Okay, diving right in. One of the most commonly discussed topics, especially with new players, is the Explorer Club. So let's go ahead and start off by laying a foundation. What is the Explorer Club? The Explorer Club is an in-game subscription that becomes available to you after you purchase your first 5 Explorer badges in-game. After that, if you want to subscribe, then it's $49.99 per month, or you can save a little bit, 8% to be exact, and go with $549.99 for a yearly subscription. And what does that get you? Well, it gets you 3 main advantages in the game. The first off, you get a daily login bonus. Each day is usually 90, but at certain intervals, you get a big extra bonus. And we're going to go over the numbers here in a minute. The second thing is you get a couple extra spins on the diamond wheel on a daily basis, which also yield a little bit extra Atlas bucks on a daily basis. And you can boost for up to 8 hours, and you can actually safely boost and get a night's sleep. Right up front, I don't subscribe to the Explorer Club. Not that I think it's a bad value. I've done a video in the past where I compared all the relative values to the Atlas bucks per US dollar spent, and it actually comes in second in line to the challenge ladder on a monthly basis as far as how many Atlas bucks you get to $1. And it's far better than actually buying Atlas buck packs off of either mobile or the website. So it's a decent deal if you're going to put money into the game. But here's the key answer. When people ask me, why do you not subscribe? First of all, I think I play this game as a game, and all my videos are focused on playing this game as a game. Now, there's a key line there, and even in their terms of service, they say, do not treat this as an investment. However, in my mind, crossing that line and paying that 50 bucks a month is like, to me, treating this as an investment. So that's my reason why I don't currently subscribe. Secondly, I don't currently make $50 a month off of Atlas Earth. I'm about 46, so I'm sneaking up on there, and we're getting ready to look at the chart I put together, which took a decent amount of hours worth of math. But at a certain point, it might be feasible. All the decisions I made in the game and the money I've spent in the game have all been earned off of the game. In other words, I have not come out of pocket. So that's my reasoning right up front. Your reasoning may be completely different because everybody plays different. Let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, first off, if you're not into math videos, this may not be for you. Frankly, I don't make a lot of videos that require a lot of math because math is not my greatest subject. However, I'm going to give you a baseline here of things we know, and then we're going to proceed from there and talk about how long it takes to pay off the Explorer Club while you're playing. So first of all, this is where I started. I figured out how many Atlas bucks are made off of subscribing to the Explorer Club. Now, you can pay the $49.99 per month. What I went with was the yearly cost savings, because I felt like if you came into the game and started playing and decided you wanted to start playing and play with the Explorer Club, that would be the best option because you're saving a little bit of money. So instead of paying 50 bucks a month, $49.99, you're paying $45.92 a month. So a few bucks a month helps out. And that's what I used for these cost considerations. So the first month that you play through, keep in mind that they go in 3-month increments. In other words, to get to month 2 and month 3, you have to play through all 3 months consecutively. And I say that because the bonuses get a little bit higher as you go. There's your first big bonus at a week. There's a second big bonus at half a month, then 2 months, and then 3 months, and that final big one right at the end. And what you'll find is if you average out, and these averages include the free-to-play side, because if you subscribe to the Explorer Club, you can claim both sides. Now, keep in mind, this also requires that you don't miss a day, because if you miss a day, then your calendar resets. That first month will net you 3,545 AB, okay? And that comes out, I did the average at about a little bit more than a cent, 0.0129. That second month, you will net 3,369 AB, a little bit less. And so you net, it costs you a little bit more on average, 0.013. But still, we're right at about a little bit more than a penny per Atlas buck. In that third month, where that big bonus at the very end kicks in, you have 4,039 AB, which the cost comes down to 0.011 per AB average. The other numbers that figured into this were wheel spins. I figured that at 8 Atlas bucks daily average, because I haven't been keeping an average, but with 5 spins, I usually get, sometimes you hit a little bit more, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get diamonds, you know what it is. So for the sake of this exercise, I figured 8 Atlas bucks per day on average for wheel spins. And the 20-minute ads, there's 144. Remember, I'm coming from the United States. Atlas bucks max per day. If you watched every single ad for 24 hours, which is not really possible, then you could get 144. I figured it at 100. I figured that most people, if you're playing this game seriously and you're playing for the paying for the Explorer Club, you could get about 100 Atlas bucks on a daily basis. Okay, that's what I considered a baseline playing Atlas Earth. Okay, now obviously you're saying to yourself, there's lots of things that you did not put in there. Okay, everything else in the game, I think these considerations that I just went over are the baseline playing Atlas Earth that I considered. Everything else is just tons of variables. How much do you play the arcade? How many surveys do you do? Did you do Atlas travel? And so on and so forth. There's no way I could take an average on those, because everybody is offered different deals and everybody has a different income. Okay, so we are going with, I don't want to say a worst case scenario, because it takes a lot of effort to upkeep your daily login on a daily basis, plus all the boosts going on or the ads watched every 20 minutes. So there's a lot of effort going into this, but we didn't consider all the other variables, and we'll talk about that when we get to the chart. Okay, for the purpose of this exercise, I started a brand new person, a brand new player. Okay, from get-go, I'm a person in the United States. I start to play and I go ahead and subscribe to the Explorer Club. I buy the year subscription. That automatically puts me in the whole $549.99. You can see, and I know it's a spreadsheet, and I'm sorry, we'll get through this as quickly as possible, but this is the best way I could do the math and keep track of everything. I advanced this theoretical character as I would using the Tasty Wallet advancement guide. Not necessarily doing tier jumps, because with the Explorer Club, one of the benefits is you are moving ahead at a rapid pace because you're getting so many Atlas bucks on a daily basis, right? On the red, you can see the loss and profit column at a certain point. I color coded it so you can see red is loss, and then you can see in green down here where we start to go in the profit. But you can also see that I factored out how many Atlas bucks are earned on a monthly basis, and when they're not exactly all used up for buying badges or parcels, then the rest is carried forward to the next month. That's why you see the numbers fluctuate. This column, you can see the number of parcels that are bought on a monthly basis, and the total of parcels as it accumulates, the number of badges total as those accumulate, and you can see the monthly rent average. I thought about making like a graph out of this, but all the graph would show was like a line going down, so not that interesting. So you can see that I'll do some point some things out here. We start at $549.99 in the hole, and as you can see, it just slowly starts going down as our monthly rent average. This indicates the first year. You will see the first takeaway is you will see that after the first year, you're still haven't paid off that $549, okay, or $550. You are left with a deficit of minus $247.01. Now, like I said, this is kind of what I consider almost a worst case scenario because it doesn't include a person, playing mini games or playing the arcade or, earning off the AMP program. It doesn't include all of that, okay? It doesn't include slowly taking over mayorships and getting Atlas bucks from the mayorships, okay? But I consider this a baseline, almost worst case scenario. Okay, I think when we get to the end of this, we'll discuss my takeaway there. But so at the end of the first year, you can see you're sitting at about $250, $247, still in the hole after you've subscribed for that first year. Okay, at this point, you are at about 700 and right about 704 or so parcels, and you've got 61. You can see that I slowly advanced and made at the right junctures, made the badge purchases using the Atlas Buck. And at the end of the first year, you're looking at about just under $35 a month, okay? Now, this first example considers that after the first year, this person stopped subscribing. They said, okay, I did my 1 year. That's it. I want to go ahead and pay it off and then just play from there. What happens then is in the second year, you will see that they start off at a deficit because you have the $247. And then the first month you're earning $28, so that comes out to really you're ending January at $218, and it's slowly working its way down. But the takeaway here is that your income on a daily basis has basically been cut in half because of the Explorer Club gone away. Okay, and that means your progress is as far as parcels is cut in half as well. So, but you're still making progress, or this person is still making progress, still hanging out at 61 badges, which is the 20%. And you can see that along in here, his profit has, or this person's profit has went down a little bit, and it's actually at the end of the second year is a little bit less than what he was making per month at the end of the first year because of breaking tier. Okay, like I said, in this example, we are not considering tier jumping. But the key takeaway here is you'll find that in month 20, once again, in this example, this person started breaking, it did break even, went into the even, and you can see that from there, the numbers start going up. Remember that we're still in a situation where breaking tier equals losing money. So you will see the profit per month go down a little bit, but still at the end of the second year, you're in the profit and you're set up to move forward from there. Now, in the next type of situation, what I consider is the person, instead of deciding to discontinue their Explorer Club membership, they went ahead and did it again. So that's an extra $549.99 with the carried over, what was left over, 200 and whatever, minus the $34.52 from the monthly average. They're ending their second January at $762.48. And as we accumulate, you can see that by the end of year 2, we are sticking at the 1,500 mark. Because at that point, what you want to do is go ahead and move up to the 25% with badges, which is 101. So we're sitting at this person is sitting at 1,500, and he was able to buy 77 badges and the 40 parcels to come up to 1,500 in December of the second year. He's sitting at about $53.39 per month made. Okay, now that brings us into the third year. Remember, we're still in the red, okay? So in the third year, much the same. The math comes out to paying that $549 minus the $49 he's making on a monthly basis. He's starting the year off at the end of January at $779.85 owed. So as you can see, still in the hole in the third year. Now we work through the third year, and at the end of the third year, this person's getting ready to see a little bit of daylight because the owed average has come down. So at the end of his third year, he's only owing $92.16. But if you look over, you see that his average is going up nicely, $73. Okay, so at this point, at the end of year 3, this person is sitting at about 2,281 parcels. So he's way into the 2 times multiplier, does not have to worry about his rent going down anymore. He can just pile on the the parcels as needed. He's already at his 101 badges, so he no longer has to worry about that. From there on out, it's a much simpler, or from when you hit the 2 times multiplier and get to the break-even point, from there on out, it's a much simpler game that really revolves around just purchasing parcels when you want to and taking over mayorships. Okay, so what we do is we get into the 4th year, and this is where this person sees daylight. Okay, so we go into the 4th year. This person pays for another year of Explorer Club. That's another $549 minus the $75, almost $76 he's making on a monthly basis, and he's ending his 4th January playing the game and subscribing to the Explorer Club at $566 in the hole. Now, in August of his 4th year, he's paid it off. Okay, he's out of the hole, and you can see that he's making just over $91 per month. And from there, it just builds up. Now, when he goes into his 5th year, he will have to incur that $549.99 again. But you can see at the end of this, he is earning $100 a month. So what that means is after it'll just keep progressing. So after that first 5 to 6 months that he pays off his year, the rest is profit, and it works its way out from there. Okay, a couple takeaways here before we get off the spreadsheet. The first one is that with the Explorer Club, this in this example, the average was between 68 and between 65 and 75 per month. And then without the Explorer Club, it was roughly half, between 30 and 35, somewhere like that. That's the first takeaway. The second takeaway is that after crossing the 2 times multiplier line, getting past the break-even point, it seemed like every month where this person was adding 65 to 75 parcels a month, they were advancing their pay by between $2 and $3. So their monthly pay was going up by $2 to $3. And this is including SRB. So because when you're at this point, this is the most of your money is coming from the SRB and not your actual boosting. Okay, to wrap everything up, how do I feel? Well, I'm still not at the point in my Atlas Earth journey that I think I'm going to subscribe to the Explorer Club for aforementioned reasons. Now, as we can see in the example I went through, it helps a brand new player really plow through the game and get to, advancement much quicker. I think I haven't compared the numbers outside of the United States, but I think that it might be a slightly better value for those people who are playing outside of the United States due to them making less Atlas bucks on a daily basis due to marketing, ad rates being much lower in other countries. So I think that if they could do it, it would present them a much quicker move forward into the game, because ultimately where you want to be is in that 2 times multiplier above the break-even point, which in the United States is about 1,700, but in other countries it could be 400, 500. So as you can see, the Explorer Club would help them move to that position much quicker, so it may present a much better value. As far as me, if I went ahead at my current position, I'm at 1,500 parcels in the United States, and I'm getting ready to make that jump to 1725. I feel that once I get there, it might be a more viable solution. Once I get around that $100 a month, which is a little bit farther out, but once I hit that $100 a month rent earnings, I might consider it due to the fact that when we got to the end of that chart, if I went ahead and subscribed now, that would put me in a position where I might be able, if I subscribe for a year, I might be able to pay that off in a year, or I might still be in the hole a little bit afterwards, but it would help me jump forward in parcels a lot quicker. However, like I said, I'm not in a position right now that I think I'm going to spend all that money on the game. As far as I'm doing right now, I'm playing it as a game. I'm still in the green, and I'm still having fun. But like they always say never. Okay. Editing Bronze Dragon, hopping in here for one last point that I thought was important and I forgot to make earlier. With proper game application, in other words, the player actually jumping in and taking part in the mini games and taking part in the arcade and AMP program and everything else that goes into the game, I do feel that the payoff of the Explorer Club in this situation could be pulled back into that 3rd year. Obviously, there's a lot of variables there. That's why I didn't factor them in. But, playing a lot of games and applying yourself, I believe, could go ahead and pull that back into the 3rd year. Say never. Okay, this has been Bronze Dragon. I hope this has been interesting and might lead you to make a fruitful decision on your behalf. In the comments, if you have any questions, let me know, and I might do a follow-up episode. Otherwise, this has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in Atlas Earth.